Well, hello everyone, and welcome to We the People by the People for all the people. We are a group of family members, self advocates, providers, and really champions for people with developmental disabilities. Our mission in this group is to connect with our local legislators to affect positive change in law, which is happening right now. We are in what? Is this week 4?
We've finished week 4. We're getting ready for week 5.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gearing up for week 5 and for Developmental Disability Awareness Day in the Capitol, which is Tuesday?
Tuesday.
It's
Yep.
Tuesday. It's Tuesday. So thank you, everybody who's on the meeting, for joining us today. We are really excited to get to Tallahassee, bring you with us, whether that's in person or your stories. And we're going to go ahead and really go into what to expect at on Tuesday so everybody feels prepared and ready and involved, and let's go. I do want to let everyone know that we have a lot of families that can't meet every Friday at 3 o'clock. So we put these meetings on YouTube. And with that, I'm going to go ahead and let Nicole do her thing.
Happy Friday, everybody. I hope everyone's staying warm. I heard some horror stories about scraping with ice.
That's
So
insane.
it's just, my blood doesn't work that way anymore, even if I have lived in other places, but I hope everyone's staying warm. Just recently came back from Tallahassee. I was up there earlier, well, 3 or 4 days this last week. We did some testimony about, oh, I forget the bill name first. It was called public assistance, but essentially it talked about adding work requirements for Medicaid eligibility, SNAP eligibility, and a couple of other things. And then on Wednesday, I joined with the Autism Society of Florida, a couple other board members, and we spoke in favor of the Cameras in Classrooms, Special Education Classrooms bill. And that passed through that committee. Um, Unanimously. It was a really, if you haven't seen the recordings of it, there was not a dry eye on the committee. It was the education pre-K committee with Senator Simon, and I think every single one of them had a few tears from the testimony. It was incredibly powerful, and just goes to show what it means when our families can kind of unite, come together, and share their stories with legislators. So, yeah, definitely check that out. Give you a quick update on some bills here. So I didn't get my slides finished in time, but I did get my notes finished, so I apologize. Senate Bill 72, House Bill 615, I believe it's IEPs, stalled in the Senate. So if you're going to do any kind of phone calls to the first committee of reference, which I wrote on everything else except for this one, which is for the Senate side, is going to be Education Pre-K, which would be Senator Simon. So if you want to call Senator Simon's office in support of that bill, please do so. Senate Bill 1652 and House Bill 411
Wait.
terminology is.
Hold on. Wait, stop there because I don't want you to go on. What does
Oh.
stalled in the Senate mean? Like, what does that actually mean?
Well, so in this bill's case, the bill has been, it's got a number, it has a matching companion, it has been read for the first time, but it has not been assigned to its first committee.
Okay.
So we are the first, it has three committees of reference for the bill. The very first committee is Education Pre-K through 12, which in the Senate, the chair is Senator Simon. So if you would like to advocate in support of the bill, a good way to do that would be to reach out to Senator Simon's office and let him know that you are, calling in support and respectfully request that he adds it to the agenda for next week.
And
Because
what's happening now is we're also running out of time in
we're running
committees
out of
to get it
time.
through three committees to be able to do it. Pretty much, if it hasn't gotten in committee pretty soon, it's gonna die on the vine.
Yeah.
Why is it gonna die? Like, what does that mean?
Well, what happens, it just takes too much time to work through all three committees. And we're running, if it's not on the first committee, it's got to go to first before it can go to second, before it can go to third. And if it's hung up in the first committee, and you're getting into the fifth, the sixth week,
Mm.
you start to run out. The process doesn't allow enough time for to get on an agenda to be able to have hearing and do all those things. And so That's why when you look at the number of bills filed versus the number of bills that actually even get assigned to committee that make it through all the committees to make it to the floor, and then it's got to agree with the House and the Senate side or go into conference. It's not easy to get a bill passed.
Mm-mm.
So that's
Okay,
when we
good. I
say
just
it's
wanted to
stalled. That's what that
nope, yeah.
means.
It's stalled, and in order to get that thing moving and cruising, call Senator Simon and say, "Hey, we really want
I'm,
to see this come to committee." Okay.
yep. And
All
it's
right.
the
And
same
you can also
for,
ask if there's a barrier that you need to be aware of that why it's not being supported. It could be a cost.
So sometimes they will tell you basically if the department isn't, if it's not on their legislative budget request, if it's not in their agenda, then they may not support.
and
Okay.
that's a really good segue to the next one because so the next bill I'm talking about is Senate Bill 1652, House Bill 411. For those of you who aren't familiar with that one, that's our autism, our terminology associated with autism bill, otherwise known as Sienna's Chance. And the first committee of reference in the Senate and in the House, it has not been heard yet in either chamber. So, calls and support. So, for example, in the House, that would be with Representative Mello's office. And for the Senate, says Senator Burgess is doing this bill. This would be for, I'm sorry, Children, Family, and Elder Affairs, which is Senator Grawl. So if you wanted to make some phone calls and support for that. And the reason that we're hearing that this one is not been on the agenda yet is because there has been rumors of an analysis done by APD that would estimate what they call an 18 or 20 billion dollar fiscal impact to update the legal definition of autism. And I have a flyer that I can put into the chat that basically is something you can leave with the office that discusses why this does not automatically trigger and enrollment into iBudget. I think all of our families are intimately familiar with the fact that just because you have the autism diagnosis does not mean that you will get enrolled into iBudget.
Can I
But
jump in?
yeah, please, Anna.
So with this, there is zero fiscal impact, and the as Nicole mentioned, they came up with a ridiculous number based on the 1 in 31 statistic of Floridians potentially being diagnosed with autism. Which yes, we're going to my work buddy. Which yes, that number is correct. However, changing no, you don't have ABA today. Changing that definition is literally just aligning it with what's already creating autism diagnostics or an autism diagnosis based on diagnostics. It has zero fiscal impact on APD because, in order for you to qualify for APD under autism, you must have a severe form of autism based on their own administrative code and the legislation. So it is completely
Yeah.
false.
I put so a lot of that information is on this flyer that I put into the chat. And so also want to clarify that statistic from the CDC, the full statistics reads 1 in 31 children under the age of 8. So if we really wanted to take the full numbers and apply it to a, population based out of Florida, which is inherently primarily retirees, we can do that. And then we can take a smaller piece of that wedge and talk about of the, autism diagnoses, how many children are, with the severe autism. But regardless, we put the flyer there to help make that clear. So if you do call and support,
Where is
then you can have that as well.
where is the
Very
flyer?
much
It's in the
support,
chat, Sandy.
Okay.
but very much in support,
Um,
but look at the reality currently is that, I mean, I've had multiple clients that have had severe autism. We still had to fight like hell to get any kind of recognition.
Exactly that.
So the current
the
complexity of the diagnosis is by itself being a tool of fiscal management by denying, delaying, or discouraging those that actually should qualify.
Yeah, I think so. There's a lot more we could obviously dig into that, but I'm going to get through the rest of the notes and then we have a couple more things to go through. So, because I want to be mindful with the 4 o'clock. If you haven't signed up for it for the family cafes, let's talk with Joe McCann. So,
And
moving
also,
down.
like, we're going to Tallahassee together, so I'll
Yeah,
make sure we're
there's a
talking
lot to
about
go
that.
through today. So I'm gonna get through some more, and then if you have, how about this? If you have a question about any specific bill, put it in the chat, and I'll try to give you some notes. Okay, so the next one I'm looking at is Senate Bill 418, House Bill 365, which is the law enforcement with autism bill. And so this one actually is now moving along. You
Woo!
can look in the Senate, we need some calls to fiscal policy. In the House, calls to the Criminal Justice Subcommittee, but it's on the second committee of reference, I believe, for both, and it's moving, which is good. This is really, really good. And I know they just had some testimony for that this last week, actually. So that was wonderful. Senate Bill 478, House Bill 829, music therapy, has stalled in both the Senate and the House. So if you're looking to do some supportive phone calls for, that particular bill, the first committee of reference in the Senate is health policy, which would be Senator Burton. She's the chair for that first committee. And then I'm so sorry I didn't write down the name. Let me write down real quick the name for the House. The House is Health Professions and Program Subcommittee. So that would be Chair Tuck. Okay. A few more. Senate Bill 494 and House Bill 423, which is the student elopement bill. Right now, it hasn't moved in the Senate. So we could use some phone calls in the Senate. That would be Senator Simon. The Education Pre-K through 12 is the first committee of reference. In the House, it's moving. The next stop is Education and Employment Committee. So if you wanted to make phone calls there, they could really use that support too. Senate Bill 556, House Bill 453. This is requiring or requirements for high school diploma. The cool piece of this is the allowing of Special Olympics be used as a credit towards graduation. Big news, it's on the agenda to be heard in the Senate while we are all in Tallahassee. So that is on the agenda, the budget subcommittee, I believe. And so, wait a minute, yeah, Children, Family, and Elder Affairs on the 10th of February at noon. So please come in support of that. But in the House, it's at the second committee, which is the Healthcare Budget Subcommittee, if you'd like to do some phone calls there. Next bill is Senate Bill 586, House Bill 487, which is repair of mobility devices. It has stalled in the Senate. The first committee of reference is the Commerce and Tourism with Senator Leak, and they have not gotten that on the agenda yet, but it has finished completely in the House. So definitely could use some support there for repair of mobility devices. Okay, let me go back. I
I'm
think I
sorry,
meant, yeah.
Nicole, what is that in the Senate and the first
Okay.
one
So
is leak?
yeah, so Senate Bill 586, House Bill 487, repair of mobility devices. And
Okay.
so, yeah,
Leak
this,
is my guy, so I'll reach
oh,
out.
great. Yeah, Commerce and Tourism Committee in the Senate. So that's where we could use some phone calls because it's done in the House. It's finished.
And just so
Um,
everyone knows, because Nicole's hurting my brain with all her incredible research. After these calls, I'll send an email with, like, the meeting recap, and then we'll give call to action. So, for the mobility bill, contact Senator Leak. Is that right? Yeah.
Yeah,
So
Senator Lee.
we'll help you with that. Gosh, Nicole, you're amazing. Okay, keep going. Sorry.
Sorry, there's more. I'm so sorry, but if you think this is bad, you should just see my computer screen with all the tabs. This is why. Okay, Senate Bill 794, House Bill 565, otherwise known as the Agency for Persons with Disabilities Bill, run by Representative Tant. This is actually going to be on the agenda with Children, Family, and Elder Affairs in the Senate. Yay, on the 10th at
Ooh,
noon.
that's
So
awesome.
this one is a requiring of level 2 background screening for people that work with our population and a couple of other restrictions. So I think, is Melissa on the call? I don't know if
Not
she's
yet.
here or not. Okay. Because we were talking about some other aspects of it that might be good for us. But let me see here, in the House, it's on the second committee of reference. So if you wanted to reach out to Chair Tuck for Healthcare Budget Subcommittee, that is that one. Next up, Senate Bill 1046, House Bill 969, which is the Detection of Developmental Disabilities and Autism Spectrum Disorder Bill. This is stalled in both the Senate and the House. If you want to do some phone calls to support, the first committee of reference in the Senate is Chair Burton Health Policy Subcommittee, and in the House it is the Health Professions with Chair Tuck. We only have two more, I swear. Senate Bill 1170 and House Bill 859, which is the cameras in special education classrooms. It was really cool, like I mentioned, that we had this on committee last week. So we had some testimony for that on Wednesday. The next stop in the Senate is the Appropriations on Pre-K through 12 Education Committee, and that's Chair Burgess. So if you'd like to do some support there. Also, it's on the third and final stop in the House with Chair Candidate, and it's the Employment Subcommittee. Last but not least, Senate Bill 1640, House Bill 1507. This is a Medicaid dental pilot program for people with disabilities. So this is for adults. And the pilot's a 3-year pilot, and I think it's at a central region. But it's really exciting because right now, for a lot of families, I don't know if you guys are familiar or not, but for Medicaid, the only thing that gets covered for your dental is extractions, or I think, what do they call that when they do, they give you like fake teeth. What is that? Someone help
Center?
me out. Yeah, denture. There you go. So like preventative cleanings, exams, it's not covered. So this would do specifically for our population with disabilities to allow to do a study, which we obviously know that prevention is always better than having to pay for emergency visits for oral health care. It's stalled in both right now, the Senate and the House. The first committee of reference is the Health Policy Committee in the Senate, which is Chair Burton, Senator Burton. And then in the House, it's the Healthcare Facilities Subcommittee, and that's Chair Anderson or Representative Anderson. That's the update on the bills.
Nicole, I wanted to add something on that, is that one of the challenges right now, I suspect, is that there is still a lot of unknowns about state revenue.
Right.
Rather, there's still all this kind of rumblings about property tax and eliminating that. And so it's very difficult, not impossible, very difficult to get the attention of new fiscal programs when they don't even sure they're going to have the funding for what currently exists. On a dental side specifically, how is this different from the former grants that that the ARC was handling for dental? Do you know?
I'd have to probably defer you to one of my Florida Voices contacts. They're more familiar with this bill than I am. But I can tell you is that I don't believe that when they say in the scope of the bill for people with disabilities, I don't believe it's solely to clients within APD. But I have to double check the language and what that difference is because you're right. I'm not 100% sure. I just do know that when we had a lot of meetings about this bill in particular, there was conversation about the fact that, dental insurance in the state of Florida in general is just incredibly difficult to find, dentists that will interact with
Was
our population.
Nicole, was this the one for
So,
dental therapy that
no,
created
this
the dental
one,
therapy?
there
No.
is a dental therapy bill,
And that's
but this is
cruising, right?
different. Yeah,
Yeah, that one's cruising.
yeah, so this one's different. This one's a pilot program, and it's specifically to show, and they already have the statistics and data that proves, obviously, that prevention is cheaper than emergency dental care, but this one is supposed to do a 3-year study for it.
Yeah, it would also alleviate the impact, the very large fiscal impact of emergency room visits that occur from dental emergencies that are easily prevented.
Right, exactly that. So, yeah, I would say that, roughly 2,000 bills actively going on, but I'm only tracking about 60 of them as they kind of pertain to our population. A couple other ones that I just track for funsies, but That's about what I've got right now. I know that Joe has other ones that he looks at. You guys can all laugh. It is funny. It's ridiculous. We shouldn't have to track this for fun. But the big news for next week is obviously DD Day and Autism Day. We don't have a guest speaker today because the schedules have just been that crazy. There's
Oh,
been a
and
lot of
we've got a
stuff.
plan. We want to make sure
Yeah.
that we are setting you guys up for success if you're coming to the Capitol with us.
Believe
It
it or not.
is we're a fun group, I promise. And we do have some really neat things in store. So before Nicole goes, because she's gone hard, like I can't say enough on the planning this woman has put into us having a good time next week. We really want to make sure that families are getting the education that they need when you go to a capital without feeling overwhelmed and alone. But before I let you go, because you're gonna go, could you, if you have not told us that you are coming to Tallahassee next week, could you please put it in the chat with an email or a phone number that we can contact you at? We're really trying to make sure the stories that we do each year, we want to make sure if you're there, we have a one pager ready for you to take to your appointments. And I have reached out one-to-one for the people I do know, because I'm helping update those. Really need to know if you haven't told us yet, please let us know, because we want to make sure that you're equipped and ready and having a good time.
Can you also talk about what you're looking for with those updates?
Yeah, so on our website, Nicole, can you put the link in there? There's a
Nah.
very easy form. You can fill out your basic information. Like today, Anna, you were talking about the autism definition. I think that you have some connection there. And so we would really talk about challenges or things you think in your story. Basically, what you're going to speak to your legislators about. And if you don't know, don't worry about it. Fill out the information. Tell us about you, and I'll help. We're very good at this. We have experts in the background that really can help you clarify your meeting so that you feel confident. And plus, they're really effective at getting the legislators to see the person behind the data and the numbers and the jargon. We're real folks, so thank you. Oh, Joanne, you're our new person. You're coming?
Yes, I am.
Yes. Tell us,
Hey
say
there,
hello.
girl.
We love new friends.
Hi.
Hi. Is this your first time in the Capitol?
No. 2
Cool.
years ago with Partners in Policy Making. That was part of our end of session adventure. And
Hmm.
Nicole and I, we bonded in Partners in Policy Making. So it has been my goal to be supportive whichever way I can and not reinvent the wheel. So, I am fluffy and orange hair and intend to,
We're gonna
hopefully.
have a good time. I'm
Yeah.
so
Oh,
glad
yeah,
you're
I'll
coming back.
believe you. That's my middle name. So I'm looking forward to
Joy
it. Thank you.
Good Time. That's awesome. I'm gonna put that in your story. Joy Good Time.
I'm going to show you guys an example real quick of what the story looks like
Thanks.
because sometimes it's just easier
While you're
to.
pulling that up,
There you go.
it's important again to remember it would be great to get a story from somebody that came off the wait list this year because they got a letter.
Yep.
It'd be important for somebody to talk about we got better funding, things improved, it had a positive impact. We do have plenty of things to fix, but we also need to be sure they understand this is impacting people in good ways, positive ways.
We got a
So,
couple of those. We do have a
okay,
couple
good.
of those.
Did you get my update?
Not yet.
Oh, I put
Not yet.
in
So
an
you guys
But
update
can
this
one.
see right
weekend,
here. Yeah.
so one of the things we're gonna do is have these displayed, so that legislators walking by, folks walking by can really see the people behind the stories too. And this one I did this morning for Sienna and AJ. Hey, can you make that like all the way big, like
All the way big.
maximum?
Oh, yeah,
Yeah, it's
yeah.
hard to
There
see.
you go. All the way
All the
big.
way big. Get rid of all your crazy windows.
Hey, no judgment on my windows.
So this is just an example. Sienna and AJ, we have, and the form walks you through all this. So I just make it pretty. So their ages, whether they're on the waiver, the wait list, not either, or if they're not eligible. And then 3 fun facts. Nicole's daughter, Sienna, made the most beautiful ring, and it was actually the inspiration behind our t-shirts that we have this year. But 3 fun facts about, the individuals, and then a short version of what your challenges are, what you're looking for from the legislators. Um, and then, love the family, sincerely us. So they're really simple. It's not something to overthink, just a way for our legislators to connect with who we are. And also, those meetings that you walk into, they're 15 minutes max. Like, you got 30 seconds in an elevator to talk to them. This is an effective way to really get them that information. Because the coolest thing about Tallahassee, or I don't know if this is the coolest thing, but a thing about Tallahassee is you'll be walking through the maze of the halls and you'll see Senator Simon and be like, "Oh, Senator Simon, so great to see you. Hey, I couldn't get an appointment with you, but here's a connection for my family about IEPs. I'd really like you to know." Things like that. And you can just hand these to the legislators. So I really want families to go ahead and do this, because when you come to the second floor rotunda on the 10th, upstairs in the second floor, there's a table that we are sharing with Florida Voices for Health, where you can check in with us, and we'll have, if you have done a story, we'll have your story so that you can hand them out. That way you're feeling equipped. And then Nicole did this awesome carnation deal, and you go ahead, Nicole.
Okay, so basically, I think I shared this with you guys before. We're doing a kind of a campaign where I'm calling it Covering the Capitol and Carnations. I put the flyer for that in the chat. I'm gonna have about 7 or 8 dozen orange carnations delivered the morning of at the Capitol. So when you come to check in at the table, for however many legislator appointments you are able to score, we'll give you that many carnations, and you take an individual one to every single appointment and drop this off with their office. We're trying to create a visual impact of what it looks like when our families go and they advocate. I also have some big news. Just got this like 2 seconds ago. We're going to be doing a press conference, you guys. So we're going to ask those legislators we drop the carnations off to bring them with them when they come to our press conference. And I'll get into that in a little bit. But orange is the color of the day for the 10th. That's representative. And I know Joanne, like, that's got to be, she's like, yay, yay.
Oh
But
yeah, she got the orange hair. Oh,
she
that's
got her
awesome.
orange hair. It's already done. So, yeah, that's the color for developmental disabilities, the color of the carnations. I also got some cute little goofy small orange ducks that we can kind of take around and put in different places in the Capitol. You can do pictures. But we're also doing a campaign for those who can't be there. If you can't be there in person, that's okay. We're doing the bingo card again. Let me see if I still have that one. I'll put it in the chat as well. But the bingo card where you can do both in person and from home. And when you do your appointments, if you're doing it virtually, make sure you give them, and I'm going to put this in the chat. There's a flyer that I created there that you can email as a follow-up. Like, so thank you for the appointment. Here's your orange carnation for supporting families, thank you, that kind of thing. So, yeah, the day of check in. We'll probably have everything opening up like right before 8 o'clock in the morning. So you'll arrive at the Capitol, go up. I think we're on the second floor, Stephanie. I think. But worst case, if you're in the rotunda, we'll find
Yeah.
you, or you'll hear us, or you'll see us, because either it's on, the second or the third floor, whatever. We'll confirm that and try to put it out there. But
Oh, wait. Put it out there. Speaking of putting it out there, I did a thing this weekend, and if you have signed up to come with us, I've put a list together of phone numbers, and I've asked everyone, if you want to be added to our group chat so that we stay connected, send us your phone number. And that still applies. If you want to be linked into our group chat, that's how we'll have, hey guys, we're up on the second floor, or whoops, things have changed. We're on the 58th floor. Just kidding. There's not 58 floors. Okay. That was a test.
Enough.
But yeah, so we do have a group chat that we will gear up on Tuesday. And just be mindful, because some of us just love group chats of let's keep it to updates so that we can find each other in the Capitol. But that'll be fun.
Yeah. So we have there's if you've never been before, it can be a little intimidating, and we've talked about this before. So what I'm hoping, a couple of things that you guys have already done. For example, one, I hope you've already reached out to your state senator, state representative, and asked for an appointment. If you haven't done that, kind of put in the chat, like, if you have or have not done that, and we'll see if we can help you out. But please make sure, because you are their constituent and you will get priority over everyone else that's making appointments, and they are solidifying appointments today. Probably, I don't know if you might be able to squeeze in later, but it's best to reach out today to make sure that you put that information, in front of them so they know that you're coming. But yes,
So what does that look like? Wait, that one's a really important one. To your legislator, say that one more time. You want to send them an email?
send them an email, give them, I would do both, honestly. I would send an email and I would follow up with a phone call. So, they talk about the schedules, honestly, probably won't be solid until like 9 p.m. tonight. You still have time to submit, requests to their aides, because they're still at work, trust me, and they will be at work late. The schedules that they get for next week are not due to be processed, I think, until 6 or 7 tonight anyway. So there's still going to be some movement. And honestly, even the Monday we're driving down, there will still be movement. So try to be flexible that way. Melissa says that James Buchanan is scheduled to meet with families at 2:30. Melissa, is that going to be in his office, or where are we meeting him?
Yeah, I just put in there that I told him that once we know where it's a good spot, then we'll do that. I mean, we can meet where we can. His office is pretty tight, but we could meet, like, out in the hall. His office is in the Capitol, so we can kind of, and he's on the fourth floor, so we can probably do something like right out there in the rotunda. Just be like, dude, just walk out and go past the elevators, and there we are. But he's just wanted to put it out there. He's somebody that is, and I confirmed it with him when I saw him on Wednesday. So
Okay,
We
so
still didn't get a meeting room, right?
I
For
still
the
don't have
day.
that confirmed. So we have potentially an office space in the Senate side, and I'll let everybody know as soon as I've been emailing and calling about that today. It would be a small room, but another place for us to kind of connect. I'm hoping to give us some more updates on that later, and I apologize, I just don't have it yet. Okay,
Can I
so
respond to something in the chat? Because I kind of want some feedback.
yeah,
Deborah Watkins, she had a really good suggestion that we use WhatsApp. And my only fear is that maybe not everybody uses WhatsApp.
as WhatsApp, yeah.
So if there's a general consensus on WhatsApp, I'll WhatsApp it up. I got no problem doing that. I just don't want to lose people to not having WhatsApp. So if I don't know, this is a group talk. If anybody has any strong feelings about WhatsApp, tell me what's up.
Is it okay if I say something?
For sure. Whoever, yeah.
So I'm new to the group, and I was just in the Capitol with an ASW. We did use WhatsApp, and we had a group of almost 300 strong, and it worked very well for us. So I would just vote yes for WhatsApp working well. It was easy to download. I didn't have it either. I'd never used it before. There was no cost associated, and it was very successful for us.
Done deal. WhatsApp it is. I heard of the motion in a second. Oh man.
There we go.
Yeah, that's great. Then
I
we'll do
also
that.
want to say that, she mentioned, I'm sorry, is it Rain? Is your name Rain?
Yes,
Or is
I
it?
am Rain. I'm here for G Goodwin. I'm a waiver support coordinator in the Suncoast region. I'm
Oh,
also
okay.
an MSW, so I was there in that capacity with NASW and USF. I just graduated in August, but I
What's
would very much
NASW?
National Association of Social Workers.
Yeah, so she also mentioned that if you didn't get an appointment, and I think this is important to, yeah, if you weren't able to get an appointment, would be a lot of walking around. There'll be a lot of this that day, but definitely stop by their office regardless. And that's where your story that Stephanie put together, that one pager, would be perfect because you come up and just ask if you can leave the information. You're here, give them your cell phone number, and if they have time, they can squeeze you in kind of a deal. So it's just never a done deal. I actually made an appointment with my legislator the first time by running into him in an elevator. So I was just like, hey, I've been trying to get a hold of you. And, oh, okay, yeah, let's squeeze you in 5 minutes. And it worked. So, yeah, definitely reach out today, but don't give up if you hadn't. So,
Hey, Nicole.
okay. Yeah.
Real quick, timing as timing goes. I have Craig Patrick on the phone right now who called. If
Okay.
you don't know who Craig Patrick is, he has done the most beautiful stories on our family's year. How many years has it been, Craig?
Well, it's been a few. It has. And I've talked to Nicole and a bunch of people, and I look forward to heading back on Monday afternoon and Tuesday.
Yeah, so Craig is actually going to be coming to the Capitol, and he's really looking for families who have some challenging stories, some help that they need. And he just called to say, hey, do you know anyone else? And I was like, well, I happen to be on the line with a bunch of them right now headed to Tallahassee. So if you are interested in going and speaking with Craig when you're in Tallahassee, throw that in the chat and I'll make sure that he connects with you prior. Just put your phone number in there and I will connect you with the Craig Patrick. And we're excited to see you next week, buddy.
I'm excited to be there, and I'm grateful for your efforts and everybody else. Thank you so much. And anybody else, some of you I know surely I've already spoken to, and I'm working the phones now to start to line up an agenda. But anybody else, if I haven't spoken to you and you'd like to speak with me, please reach out, and I'll be working the phones this afternoon, this evening, and through this weekend to start lining up plans and interviews.
And
Catch
Craig,
that.
and this is Melissa Mazzeto. We spoke before, but did
Sure.
you and Laura
Yes.
Lee and Sarah Goldman connect? Talked about like the
Yes.
Medicaid.
I connected with Sarah Goldman, and she's up for an interview, and she's going to get back with me on a specific time for it. And I've only left voice messages and haven't heard back yet from Laura Lee.
Okay. Wonderful. All right, great.
All right.
Thank you so much.
We will see you soon.
Thank you, and take care.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Well, it looks like we did have some guest speakers. Who knew? This is what happens. Okay. Yeah. So with that, I think that's a good segue. We're going to have a press conference, guys. There's been some new rules added, I guess, where if you're going to have a press conference, at least inside the Capitol, you have to have a sponsor, like either from the Senate or the House has to like sponsor the event. But the new rule is now they have to be there, whoever that is. So the senator or the representative has to be present at the entirety of the press conference. So it was like they could set it up before and then, say their piece and then take off or whatever, and the aide would help us. But now it's whoever that person is has to physically be present. So if I'm reading this correctly, Representative Tant is going to be our sponsor. And so we are going to have a press conference, and I will make sure that I get you guys the information on the time and location of where that's going to be. But that's going to be on the 10th. So we'll have Craig Patrick there doing interviews, but we will also have a press conference the day of. So that's a lot of fun, right? Okay. What haven't we talked about? We were going to talk a little bit about power mapping. If you've made your appointments, if you're looking at making your appointments, one of the tips, tricks in preparation of appointments is something called power mapping. And that's just a pretty way of basically saying kind of like Facebook stalk or, check their websites or whatever. But for example, if you have an appointment, let's say,
Okay. Facebook stock. I'm like, what is happening? Okay.
No, but seriously, you go look and see what their hobbies and their interests are. So, for example, I have Representative Brackett as my representative. I hope that he knows that I say all of this in good, kind things if he ever watches this recording. But I've met with him numerous times and his staff. They know me pretty well. But I know that he was a previous mayor. He has a lot of city governance experience. And if I was going to talk to him about an issue, I'd probably lean into the fact with, facts and data and, statistically this work because he kind of appreciates that and has that background and knowledge. But Senator, let me see, Osgood is it Osgood? He had mentioned that she was on a private or a previous school board, like she was on the school board for like 9 years or something like that. So if you have anything in particular that has to do with education, and you can talk to her about that because she has a background and experience. I say Facebook because, oh, you have kids the same age as mine, or, whatever. I'm not talking about being creepy. I swear, let me put that disclaimer as we go to say this. I mean,
I
all of
got
that,
it
I
now. I got it.
swear.
Yeah, yeah. Just those words like bounced in my brain for a minute.
Yes.
Get to know
So,
them. I
yeah,
like it.
if you know them. But honestly, it's just meant to gather the information about, be prepared. That's the bottom line, to be prepared for whichever the meeting is. You're not going to have a lot of time, whether it's with the specific legislator or their aide. It's a very crazy time during, legislative session. When you come in, make sure you have your ask prepared, make sure that you're quick, concise, to the point, and always invite a follow-up and make sure you thank them for their time. So, just some basic, anytime you go to a meeting, tips and tricks. But power mapping is one of those things that if we had more time, I'd give you some specific examples. But definitely check out their website, check out what bills they're running, to see their interest. What committees are they on? Can they even help you with the issue that you're bringing to them? So
And if that
just keep
feels
that in
like
mind.
scary or overwhelming for you,
Correct.
we will help you every step of the way. And
Exactly.
if you do have an appointment scheduled or you're going to pop in an office and you're just not sure how this is going to go, we will have some of us around so that we can help you. We can go to those appointments together. You don't have to go alone. And that's, those are the ways to have a successful meeting. And if you haven't done one before, it can feel like pressure, but it's not. It's great.
Tom had his hand up.
And just a reminder that you may not get to meet with a representative or a senator, but meeting with their aides is, again, as was emphasized last week, just as important, sometimes more effective when you can actually get them to take a minute to look through what you're talking about. So, don't worry if you don't get to meet directly, you're still meeting.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
my senator is unavailable both days that I'm going, and her aide came back and said, "I'll meet with you." And I said, "Great, let's do it." Because you usually get a little bit more time with them anyway.
Yeah, and it's just really good. You get the opportunity to spread more awareness. It's always a good thing. So for the day of 8 o'clock in the morning, the most of the booths will be set up inside the rotunda. When you come to the main entrance and check in, head upstairs and check in with a booth. So there's going to be a couple of them I ask you guys to check out. The DD Council will have their own booth at the Rotunda. Make sure you check in with them, grab a postcard. They're doing a postcard initiative, and they have buttons that you can grab. Check in with them, let them know that you're here and that you're, helping our families out. Check in with the ARCS table. Melissa Mazeda and the ARC has been doing a fantastic job about their postcard initiative. They'll have a bunch of those cards there for people to pick up, and definitely take that with you to any of your appointments. And then you check in with us. We will be sharing a table with the organization Florida Voices for Health, and I will have printed copies of the bingo card there. We will have your carnations there, and I even bought some fidget spinners and all kinds of stuff. So if you guys are there, to get the good stuff in the beginning, but
Mhm.
we'll have those at our table as well. And if we have the WhatsApp, group, we can do questions if you get, need help or whatever. But I'll, come back to the table. We'll be there. The booths will be set up, I think, until about 2 o'clock is when they start to tear those down. So throughout the day, as I mentioned, the Senate has put. I only know one committee. That's the only schedule that's been posted so far. That we have an interest. We have two bills that day, and those are both going to be, I think, at noon. Is that what I said? So they're both going to be, oh, I'm going to go back through my notes, at 12, in Children, Family, Elder Affairs in the Senate. 2 bills. So if you'd like to register, you have to go right when the committee or right before the committee meets at noon. You have to fill out a public appearance request, and that way you'll get on the record, so that way they'll call you up to do your public comment, and you have to let them know what bill you're speaking about. So there's like a whole card that you fill out in advance, and then you go into the committee hearing and you wait for your turn to speak. Typically, you get about 3 minutes. If you can do your comments, like practice your speech, so it's a little bit less than that. I think they always appreciate brevity in the committee hearings. But, kind of write that stuff in advance and make sure you have it. If I find out that there will be any more bills agended while we're there, I will be sure to share that with you. Like I said, the deadline for them to submit their agendas is not until tonight, and some of them will be on Monday. So just stay with us as we try to keep you guys informed. But if you come and do the check-in, we'll have that updated and current schedule for you then as well.
Let's talk about weather. You want to talk about the
Yeah.
weather? It's gonna be
Yeah,
stinking cold.
it's supposed to be overcast, but not rainy. It's not calling for it right now. It's supposed to be in the high 60s during the day, but still pretty darn cold at night. I say always layers, but for me, I'm peeling them off because I'm always walking around like a mad woman. I get more steps at the Capitol than I do when I go to visit Disney World. No lie.
So
So
speaking of
just
that, speaking of
yeah,
all those steps, very warm clothes to walk into the place, something you could wrap around you for when you're,
layers.
hustling. And then security. Before
Yeah.
you walk in through the doors, every single time if you leave the building, you're going to be passing through security, and it is a lot of movement that you're going to be taking. So think about that. I have this giant bucket heavy purse that I take everywhere. I don't take that to the Capitol because that's a pain in the butt, and there's always a line to get through security. So you just want to think on as little as you can when you walk in the doors, so that you can not be so fatigued. But we will have a table there, and if you are needing a moment to sit, we can hold on to some things. But I really want to make sure comfortable shoes are on your thought process. My first year, I was like, well, these are cute. I'll wear these sweet little kitten heels, and I'll look so adorable. Oh my, I looked really great with blisters and, walking sideways within an hour. So, a lot of people, you'll see them all over the place. They'll be dressed, business casual with some sneakers because you will walk.
Another tip is when you're at the tables on the rotunda, go network, go through, find out about other programs, find out what services are done, make the contacts, grab their business card. They may become your new best friend. And it's important that you, let them know who you're representing, but also find out what they're doing. Okay?
Good deal. We lost Nicole.
Did not.
Hey.
Sorry about that. I was getting another phone call at the same time. It seems that we might have 2 other senators that might sponsor our press conference. So I'm just deconflicting as we do this. I apologize.
Well, as we're doing that, Nicole, let's work out a bit of an agenda so we can know so everybody knows who's going to speak first, second, third, who's going to open it up, and what are the primary bullet points that we're trying to accomplish.
So for the press
Yeah,
conference, the intent is to just have a kind of overall support and awareness for Developmental Disability Day. The big underlying message that the DD Council wanted us to completely stress was the preservation of our budget. And so that's going to be the focus. I'll get you more information. It's like I said, it's still fluxing right now. So let me.
Is this a joint press conference, or is this a for all the people press conference?
This is ours in connection with Florida Voices, but we're gonna play nice and we're gonna be inviting, the partners that we
We're
have,
all in this together.
all of us
All
together.
together, but remember, we are the unconstrained advocates, so we will have the greatest freedom to speak, and what we say is very important. So again, an opening, a welcoming, some kind of like that, we'll work through all that, okay?
Yeah, so we'll have all the press conference detailed by the end of the weekend because you run fast and loose here, and let's get ready for the Capitol days. But Nicole has the most impressive agenda I've ever seen on any event, especially something like this. And download that WhatsApp app, and we will have it ready to go. It is subject to change because everything changes up there, but for the most part, she has things in there like parking tips, and I mean, like a map of the Capitol, everything that you could need, whether you're seasoned or new. And then as the committees change, if bills get added to the agenda later on, we will update that
WhatsApp. Yeah.
that live document thing that like just it's a work of art. It's a work of art.
I appreciate that. Yeah, I just wanted it to be so for a lot of our families, we've gone up there before. It can be it always is a madhouse. And, if you have that experience, I just wanted it to be the best experience possible for our families when they go up. And so you can feel like you made a difference being there, taking the time away from your families to get to the least accessible city in the entire state, Florida, and spending time in the cold away from your loved ones. So I really appreciate it. Yeah, Melissa says there's a cafeteria on the lower level. There's a coffee shop. To me, that's the most important one to know on the 10th floor.
Rain talked
Priorities.
about the 22nd floor, which is my favorite,
Yes.
because there's just like a lot of energy up in there, and I like quiet. And so on the 22nd floor is usually pretty quiet. If you just need to take a break, it's got panoramic views of like all of Tallahassee. Pretty beautiful.
Yeah, it's a nice place to go up, and I know they do like there's different nooks and crannies that you can kind of go into as well to get a little bit of a break. We're trying to confirm if we're going to get a conference room that's reserved for just our group that day. I don't have that information yet, but I'm hoping I will again beforehand, because that way we have a place to drop. Like someone mentioned, there's no coat check or whatever. You're carrying your stuff with you. Whatever you bring in with you, you're carrying it with you all day. So, it'd be a place where we can drop our bags or get a quiet moment when we need it. If you registered in advance with the DD Council, that day, they will be covering your lunch. So you'll need to make sure that you speak with them at their table about plans for that. And then, bring a water bottle. Here's my tip. There are water fountains all over the Capitol that you can refill a water bottle. So bring a water bottle. It's refillable, and all day long I'm constantly refilling mine. So bring an empty water bottle, bring a regular
The
whatever.
water, the water bottle has to be sealed if you do bring it in with water in, or they'll make you throw it away. Just for a heads up. But yeah, I'm not going to spend $4 on a water bottle, so I brought
When
one
you're
in
there.
there. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly that. So, um, let me think. What am I forgetting? I feel like I'm forgetting something. Oh, no, no. We do have one more thing. If you're going to be around on the 11th, Stephanie arranged for
Oh
families
yeah.
to get a tour of APD. So that's a big deal. We didn't talk about that.
My bad.
So
Yeah,
if
so
you're
if you're
still going to be around,
interested, thanks. If you're interested in seeing the headquarters of APD, I've never seen them, and I have a couple families coming with me that asked if they could go see APD. Reached out to Director Bob, and he said, "I love that idea. Just make sure you get a list of who's coming. So if you're interested, in seeing the inside of the APD with us." We welcome you to come. Right now, I think we're toying with the time, but it'll be on the 11th. It's only if you're staying for, is that a Wednesday? Wednesday the 11th?
Wednesday.
Yeah,
Yep.
Wednesday the 11th. And that way I can get those names over to them. I think the tentative time was somewhere around the 12 or 1 o'clock range. But squirrels in my
We're,
attic over here.
And
we're
that's
trying to
it's in
schedule
the
that.
Capitol Circle office complex, which is about 25 minutes from the Capitol.
Yeah.
So oh yeah, and so we're gonna have to coordinate like transportation. It's a great idea. Well, and we'll try to figure out how we make that practically happen within the days. We got the invitation. I'd like to go, and I want to enjoy, and anybody who wants to come with me, to come with me.
Yeah, we're definitely trying to make sure we schedule it so it has the least impact. So you have time to get from the Capitol over to do the tour and then come back for some important committee hearings that are happening in the afternoon. So keep in touch with us if you're going to still be in town that day and would like to go and tour. And Director Estalos himself will be there. So good opportunity to look behind and peek behind the curtain.
So I did put our email address in there because we gave I feel like a whole lot of information that might blow your mind. If you have any questions, send it to that. If you haven't given your phone number and you want to be in that WhatsApp group, please send that to that email because we want to make sure that everybody feels connected. I know Sylvia had said please give me capital address information. We will do that. I have your phone number. And so we will make sure through this weekend that we are updating and communicating. It, things are still going towards hopefully a couple bills moving through committees for next week through the end of tonight. And I know that we have the Family Cafe Let's Talk meeting in 5 minutes. So I just want to do, if anybody has any pressing needs, questions right there, you have 5 minutes to speak or forever hold your peace until you text us.
Health and Human Services Committee has posted, and the medical assistance eligibility for working persons with disabilities is on the agenda. So that's on Tuesday at 1:30.
Nice.
That would be good for people to go and show their support and wave in support. You don't have to get up and speak, but you can fill out a card and you could just say, you just check off wave in support. They'll read your name and you could just wave that you're supporting that bill because that is an important bill.
That's
And
a
we
huge
will
one.
we'll have these postcards. This is so that the iBudget and CDC programs can get an increase this year, which I did announce at the Senate committee on Wednesday. I let it out of the bag then. So now they know, and I'm meeting with legislators, and I just picked up a bunch of, some cards from people that they want me to, deliver while we're up there. So that's important.
Hey, and Melissa, I know that we did stories for you a couple years ago too. I've had some calls from waiver support coordinators over the week, and we're going to do kind of a separate, same type of campaign for you guys because you all have a story too. So if any of your information has updated, let me know. And if you know of anybody else, any support coordinators or providers that are coming, I will be busy in my little design world this weekend.
And Melissa, could you speak for a moment about what the tone, what your experience of receptiveness and the tone at the Capitol has been this year, as far as specifically the developmental disability issues?
So I've been up there every week since session started, and I'm going to the committee meetings where, they're talking about bills that do affect folks with developmental disabilities. And there's a lot of issues. There's a ton of issues that go on. So one of the most important things is it not just being one or two or three people that are advocating. It takes a village with us. It does. And when I know that not everybody can get up there and do it, but having a good show on Developmental Disabilities Day is important, and showing up if there's a bill that's being heard while you're there and you can go and you can wave in support and they're seeing that there's the interest from the constituency, and also these cards and stuff, just people doing that and showing there's that volume of people who care about this issue. That's what it really does make a big difference to them. If it's just one or two people, it's hard. But I think that the overall tone is that they want to help. There's a couple of other bills, that are kind of moving quickly, and it doesn't necessarily mean that they have to wait until July 1st to implement it. If it moves through the committees and they get it to the governor within X amount of days of session ending or before it ends, then he's got to sign it within a 15-day period. So there's certain bills that could be implemented effective April or May. It doesn't have to wait until July 1st, but showing your support for those bills, and also for an overall rate increase for the iBudget and CDC programs, and the, you know, just the recognition of like Florida Voices for Health, the DD Council, all of the stakeholders, all the people that we are all in this together, getting on that WhatsApp thing, like making sure that we're all, you know, connecting with each other. That's how we make things happen. That's how we get good policy passed, and we get recognition because it's needed. So, but I think
Yeah.
the tone is good though.
Before we go, I want to let people know that I got confirmation on the room 42 SOB, and make sure I'll share that. Don't worry about it, but it's going to be in the Senate in the basement area, like, you know, downstairs. But that's
I had requested that. We were in that room before, and I had spoken to a couple of people there. I was like, if there's any way to like get that room again, it's a good size room.
It's an awesome room. It's a
Yeah.
great
Just-
space.
we're going to be sharing that
That was
with
our first one.
Patrick. But I also, lastly, you guys, a very small minor, but not small minor. There is a case that it was brought up in the chat. So with 8 other states, including Florida, that they are suing the Department of Health and Human Services at the federal level to remove Section 504 of the Rehabilitation Act's final rule, which talks about inclusive and least restrictive environments for our people. We are doing a letter writing campaign that's going to be in the pamphlet. If you want to draft this letter, drop it off at the Attorney General's office and the Florida governor's or the governor's office, asking them to politely withdraw from this lawsuit. And we can talk about that more later, but that will be in the pamphlet.
In the WhatsApp group. And so I'm going to go ahead and get that started this evening. So if you've given us your information, we're going to WhatsApp you. And we'll do a recap on this meeting, but I want to go ahead and let everybody hop to the Let's Talk Family Cafe meeting.
Yep.
And we will see you
See you guys
in
later.
Tallahassee soon. All
Yep.
right.
Bye,
Bye, guys.
everyone.
Bye.